greatest man alive. Here on Chimoge's comments, welcome. I won't be here too long, but I just want to deliver a message. Thank you to my returning viewers, Chimoge here. Again, for the returning people, the new people, just to state it at the beginning, I'm going to be talking about action movies today, specifically those that model unsafe behavior. And really, that is basically all of them. I'll get into that in a bit. Let's do a full greeting. Kabranum Nogal Ha. Span forever, my patrilineage and all my other ancestors. AKGK. I don't have my maracas with me right now, and I'm just hitting the table. Knock on wood. Anyway. Again, my given name is Chimoge. My foremost nickname is Moge. Anyone can also call me Moge, although Chimoge is the name I most associate with myself. And I've talked about all the ins and outs of my given name before. Check out my previous videos if you want to hear that. I want to focus on other things today. My government name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. That was created based upon what I call my alternate white structured name, Chimoge Chijoke Ibe Mwoko. To be more specific, the last name Ibe is a shorter version of the last name Ibe Mwoko. Again, that discrepancy exists due to what I'll just call unfortunate events in my patrilineage. It's always an unfortunate event when an evil naming custom gets forced upon you, and then for some reason you make a name that shouldn't really exist. It's not bad. The name Ibe was not bad, but the concept of a last name doesn't make sense. So in that sense, it shouldn't exist. But then you make a name that shouldn't exist shorter just to please white people. That's not good. Anyway, I don't know the full story of how it came to be, but I know it was something like that. Anyway, that's that. My matrilineal village is at Bemohafia. That's in West Africa. You can check it out. EBEM, OHAFIA. Reference point village for my patrilineage, Algi Urata, also there in West Africa. You can check that out. Just want to note I've registered viewers. Thank you to all my viewers. Every view is a blessing. Please like, share, and subscribe. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia, and there's a better natural name for this area and the wider area it's a part of. I'll just note that it's part of what should be called the Oshun of this world, and I'll leave it at that. I've talked about that before. I want to give the full greeting, but then also not extend it as much as I usually do. Where was I born? I was born in Southeast Washington, D.C. Again, there's a better natural name for that area and other places that it's connected to more naturally. I'll just note it should be part of something I call Ram. But anyway, I just want to note that. What else? I was born approximately 30 years ago, to be precise. And again, I'm of the opinion that, you should basically have technology that tells you someone's exact age. They themselves shouldn't always have to think of it. At the same time, it shouldn't be secret. We have a lot of people who have secret ages. That's not good. So in line with that, I'll give the exact date, January 2nd, 1998. That's when I was born, and I'm a son of Capricorn, if you know astrology. Again, you can look up Capricorn, our traits. If you want to know more about me based on my astrological traits, you can also look up Pisces moon, Taurus rising, and then just look up Aquarius, because I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. And then you can also look up Scorpio descendant. Okay, that's also my chart. Let me move a bit. Yes. Let's take a walk around this section. I'm gonna do a hug. Yeah. 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 Also note that I use the name Nkorie, Nkworie. I usually capitalize the N and the second O to publish music, and it's also the name of one of my other networks. Again, this YouTube channel you're watching is part of the network Chimoge's Comments. This is where I come to debut my new ideas in full, and also to go more in depth into things I've said before. And I'll leave it at that. I have a better way of describing it. It's not mainstream. But again, proper knowledge is unfortunately not mainstream. Anyway, but this network is part of my media company, OZ Bangwokal. The message of OZ Bangwokal. Yes, you can also call that the light of the world. Anyway, let me give two facts about myself, then I'll get into my main point about action movies. Fact one. And again, it's hard for me to think of specific facts about myself outside of standard greeting information, just because I'm not always thinking of myself like that. That's just how I am. Is that a fact? That's a bonus fact. One. I'm just thinking here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah boom, ooh, 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 ooh. Ah boom, chim chim charuroku. Ah boom, chim chim charuroku. Ah boom, mama dear. I see the number 2022 on my screen. It just changed now, but I had 22 followers, so that's a manifestation of 1111. Let's make two wishes for that. I'll just do wish one, may we all be safe. Wish two, may we all get enough to eat. And then I also have two likes. So at some point that was number 222. So that's a good number to see. From my understanding, at least according to the sum total of my research and information from my ancestors, and yes, when I pray, I hear my ancestors. And I mean, here is kind of a loose way of describing it. Like if someone's talking in a room next to me, that's a very different experience than when I hear from my ancestors. Let me move. Anyway, the point is 222, according to my full understanding, in addition to just meaning you're on the right track, my ancestors don't like it when I just take angel numbers, so-called angel numbers, to mean I'm on the right track, because they're trying to tell me the messages are better, more specific than that. But that's kind of, well, that's how I've had a tendency to take them. But anyway, to go more specific, it means that you're on the right track. You're halfway there to hearing what your ancestors want you to hear. So that's good. Because there's no such thing as a message you get instantly. Anyway, back to the facts. And again, I'm going to talk about action movies and how action movies that model unsafe behavior need to be thought of differently. Two facts. One, I don't like pavement. This is very basic. I don't like pavement. It's dangerous. It's not nice to look at. Let me walk. Two, I've given this before, I'll give it again. I don't like plastic plants. Let me move. Anyway, let me get into it now. So as I said before, this segment is about action movies. You see the exact title. Um, I've been thinking a lot of them. I've been thinking about them a lot just because, one, I've been thinking about crime in general, how to reduce it. As you know, that's one of my main focuses. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, again, this is going to be on my mind for a while. I reported on the unfortunately high profile crime that was committed by the now deceased ex Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. You can check my reporting out about that out on Inquiry, the last anger segment. You can also look it up. Just look up ex Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, ex LT Governor of Virginia. Again, he committed a horrible crime and he's no longer around because of what he did. So, I don't want to glorify him by giving out his name, but I just want to, you know, enable you to find the information. Anyway, let me go for a bit of a walk. Ooh, 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 ha, ha, oh, ooh, 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 ha, ha, oh, oh. Ha, ha, oh, ooh, 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 ha, ha, oh, oh. But anyway, I've been thinking about that, and I've been watching clips online of several high-profile action movies. I don't want to name them specifically at this time, but I've been especially looking at certain movies that depict um, at least what are shown to be animals. And I'll just say it like that to be quick, even though, of course, human beings are animals. Our category of life is an animal. But anyway, I mean, we're all animals. But it shows animals, aka other animals, attacking human beings. And I'll just leave it at that. Um, and I just think that one thing we don't talk about enough in the right way is how the victims of the attacks in those movies are modeling unsafe behavior. And really, let me expand it. I'll just say all the human beings are modeling unsafe behavior. Um, I don't want to talk about the animals at this time because that's a bit more of a complicated point. I also want to thank everyone who's commented. Every comment is a blessing. I read comments at my discretion. Um, so yes. Anyway, I read comments at my discretion. Please keep them all respectful. Amadioha. Anyway, um, sorry, I'm just thinking of something. But anyway, but I'm being serious here. Um, all the human beings in these movies tend to model unsafe behavior. And because of that, I think a lot of times people don't understand what they're watching. Now, um, it can be hard because even though these movies are high profile and they get talked about a lot, the creators don't often go all the way in depth as to their intent behind it. And then there's not enough understanding in the world about the reality of the gap between intent and what has happened. So, even if the creators intended to show you A, if B is there, that's what you see. So at best, A is just, a little extra sauce if they didn't manifest A. You understand what I'm saying? Let me walk. Let me be a bit more specific. I think it's very common for people to watch action movies and then watch characters who get injured and say, their actions didn't make sense. Or maybe characters succeed. There's the trope of Deus ex machina, which means that out of nowhere, someone in danger gets saved by God. Let me move. Forgive me, I'm moving. Amadioha. 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 Amadio. Anyway, I'm just walking and thinking. Forgive me, this is a serious issue. What I'm trying to get at here is that The unpleasant thing is when you look at a lot of these situations, I think the characters, their behavior is very unsafe to such a degree that you have to ask about, to be polite, the wellness, the overall wellness, and I'll just say the overall spiritual wellness of the characters. What am I saying? It it's possible, and I'll just leave it at that. It's possible that a lot of these characters we're watching do not want to take care of themselves. Let me move. Abu Mamadio ha he hey ha Abu Mamadio ha he hey ha Abu Mamadio ha he hey ha Abu Mamadio ha Ning me Abu Mamadio ha Ning me Abu Mamadio ha Naku Abu Mamadio ha Hu Abu Mamadio ha he hey Abu Mamadio ha he hey Abu Mamadio ha he hey Abu Mamadio ha he hey. Anyway, let me just get right to the point because that's very unpleasant. Again, thank you to all my viewers. Every view is a blessing. We need to really think more critically about what seeing those kind of things does to people when they're not sure what they're watching. So I think anytime we see a movie with these two characteristics, one, a lot of violence, I'll just say it, and two, a fantastical scenario, and I'll leave it at that. Anytime you see those two things, that should never be watched purely for pleasure. And it should be understood that um, if if you even subconsciously imitate the behavior of the characters, it could cause you a lot of problems. So because of that, that should really be viewed in the lane of what I'll call academic study. And I'll move. Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha. Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha, Amadio ha, he ha, Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha, he ha, Abu Mamadio ha, he ha, Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha, Abu Mamadio ha, he ha, Abu Mamadio ha, he ha, Abu Mamadio ha. And I'll leave it at that for now, but let's all be cognizant of that. And whenever we see stuff that's kind of wacky in those movies, let's take it more seriously, so we know what we're watching. And again, just find better alternatives for entertainment. And if you're engaging in academic study, please gear up for that and take it seriously. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time. Please patronize my business and also take care of your loved ones. Again, if you go to my About section, you can find where you can buy my art, my merchandise, subscribe on Patreon, and also donate. Thank you very much. See you next time.